Hey guys, welcome back. Laz is here for Tots Plus again, and in this part we're going to go ahead and create this gear, and we're also going to go ahead and create the back piece of this, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate it over. We might even have time to go ahead and create the smaller piece as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this because you guys are going to finish this piece off on your own, because you go ahead in loads of edge loops and so on, and don't want to waste time on showing you guys how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide that, and then we're going to start off by creating it, and I'll show you guys what you got to do, and then you guys can finish that piece off on your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to go into our front view, or side view I mean, and I'm also going to go ahead and hide our threads, and I think we can actually go ahead and add this to our threads as well. Okay, so we're going to select that and just add it to the threads layer. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start off with a pipe again. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it out, create a pipe, drag one out a bit smaller than that size, drag out height, and thickness doesn't really matter. I'm just going to drag it out around there like so, move it to the center. And we're going to go ahead and change the subdivision again. Now this time we're going to change it to 32. I already tested this out. If you guys have a look, if I turn on my threads and that gear, I went ahead and tested out what the best subdivision is. So these little gears will fit into the holes, as you can tell, and it is 32. So there's a reason why we're picking 32. So once we extrude these bits, it will fit into the holes. Okay, so let me just hide these again, and we're going to go ahead and select every other face. So we're going to start off, it's fairly important you start off with this face. So we're going to pick this and then every second one. So if you hold down shift and just go around and select all of these like so. Ooh, not that one. Okay, so you should have a selection like this, and then once you have that you can go ahead and hit extrude. And if you come down in your channel box, you're just going to drag out thickness about 0.05 should do the trick, I think. So once you have that, we're going to go to local scale X. Okay, and in local scale X we're going to go ahead and drag this in to about 0.65 I guess. And local scale Y, we're going to drag this in as well to about 0.65. It seems like that should do the trick. Okay, so once you have this, you basically, all you got to do is add in the edge loops. And the reason why I'm not going to show you guys how to do it all the way around, because there are different ways of doing it, but I show the edge loops you need to add in, and then you guys can go ahead and do it on the rest of them. Okay, so we're going to need an edge loop on the top of each piece, and there will be one going around all the way here and all the way there. There will also be one going around here and here, and obviously the inside bit like so, and obviously on this side as well. So there will be one going here and one going here. Now what you're going to have to add for each individual piece is obviously on the top here, one fairly high up here, and there will be one on this side of it and this side of it. And it's fairly important that you don't do these too tight, because what we want to achieve is, if I smooth this, we want this kind of cornered out. Okay, so that's the reason why we're not doing it. And you're also going to need a loop going around here and here. So each of them should look something like this, making sure that this is rounded off and not sharp. Okay, so you're going to achieve a look like this. Now there are probably many different ways of doing this. you can either go ahead and go around each little extrusion and add in the edge loops yourself, or you can go ahead, I guess, and cut this off, cut one piece out. So add in a loop here, add in a loop here. Just use this piece, move the pivot to the center, and then duplicate it all the way around. And then obviously you're going to have to merge the vertices in the middle, or you can, I don't know, make add in the loops on all the forks, like for half of the piece, and then you duplicate it over, and then you only got to merge one half together. So it's up to you of how you're going to do it, or which way you feel comfortable with. And basically at the end of it, after you add in all the loops, each fork gonna look like this, and at the end of it you'll end up with gear like this. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and do that in your own time, and then come back and we'll start off with the rest of it. Okay, right, so let's go ahead and get started with the other pieces. So basically now you got this fork, and I'll just quickly show you guys how I align this. There is a little gap here. Okay, so this it's not the exact size of this piece. Alright, and now we can go ahead and start creating the back face of this. So what I'm going to do, or what we're going to do, is I'm going to quickly unsmooth this, and we're going to duplicate this piece because we're going to work off this. And if you hit scale and then X-1 to flip this, like so, and now we can go ahead and just line this up, something like that. Okay, so once we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get rid of some of these edge loops that we don't need. So we're going to get rid of them, delete edge, and we're also going to go ahead and delete this one and this one on the back. Okay, so once we have that, we can start going around and extruding bits how we need it. So I'm going to select that, and we're going to select this in the ring like so, and we can go ahead and hit extrude, scale, and we're going to go ahead and extrude this in a bit, something like that. Okay, so once you have that, you can go ahead and get rid of this edge loop. And if I just get on my reference to see what I'm doing, after we made this extrusion, we're going to go ahead and select this edge loop, and you can go ahead and scale. Make sure you only have that one selected, and you're going to go ahead and drag this in a bit like so. And once we have that, we can go ahead and extrude this again, scale. We're going to drag it in so you get a flat piece like that. Okay, and I'm just trying to get it to right angle so I see how deep this goes. And we're going to go ahead and extrude this again, and I'm just going to turn off the offset. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and push this one in. So I'm just pushing it in to see how deep this can go. As I can tell, my edge disappears there, so it's going to be around that deep. I'm also going to go ahead and scale this down a bit, like so, a bit more, and extrude it once more time. Turn down my offset, hit scale. Now I'm going to drag this in all the way. Okay, so once I have this, we can go ahead and fill this hole by holding down Control right click and then go to vertices. Once we have that, we can hold down Shift right click, merge vertices, and merge vertices to center. Okay, and that will fill up that hole. So once we have this, basically we got the inner piece created, and we just go add in all the loops that we need. So let's go ahead and do that. We want these corners to be pretty tight, so I'm going to go ahead and add in the loops in here. Don't know where that went. Okay, so we're going to need them around here. So this piece was fairly simple to create, nothing too complicated. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these faces, so you can give it an extrude scale so you get that other edge loop that we need on the inner side of that edge, and we've got near it there. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and extrude, scale inwards just a tad, like so, and we should have all the edge loops that we need. So you can go ahead and smooth it and see how it's looking. It looks pretty good. Okay, again, this dent in here, but I actually quite like that, so I think we're going to go ahead and keep that as it is. Okay, so we got basically this piece created, and it looks pretty good. I like it. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go ahead and group all this together and name this, don't even know what this is, thread gear big, and it's also on the right. So now we can go ahead and duplicate this over and go to modify center pivot, drag it over, scale x minus 1, and now we just gotta line this up, and it's pretty easy to do because of these holes, so you can just go ahead and line it up so it sits inside the center of that hole. Okay, and basically we got these two bottom pieces created, and I'm quite happy with the way they are looking. Seems like to my other, well, according to my other reference, it looks like that these are a bit too long, so we might have to go ahead and adjust that later, but for now we're just going to leave it as it is. So we still got some time, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create the other piece that sits at the front, or actually start creating it, and it should be fairly simple because we're gonna use quite a lot of the pieces from this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is go into our side view, and I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this piece, and we're gonna go ahead and drag it out of this group. So I'm just gonna drag that out to save confusion. Now we can go ahead and scale this down, and this is going to sit around here, so I'm going to go ahead and scale this up, and I'm just going to look in my perspective view, see if it's, I don't want it to intersect too much with all these pieces. Okay, so once we have that and we're happy with that, I think it looks okay. This bit seems to be a tiny bit too small, but I'm not too worried about that. So now we can go ahead and duplicate basically this piece and move that one over. So again, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate, drag, and then we're going to go ahead and pull this piece out of that group, and now I can go ahead, scale this down for the size that we need it. So that looks roughly in the center. I'm going to scale it up a bit. And again, I'm leaving a tiny gap in between the two pieces. Okay, so that looks great. We got that piece sorted as well. I think just to make this a little bit different, I might scale it up this way so they don't look that similar. Okay, so that looks great. And now we're basically going to grab all them screws and duplicate them over as well. So let's go ahead and see if we can find them. There they are. So here it is. We're going to go ahead and duplicate these, pull them over, and also get rid of that group, go into a side view, turn X-ray on, and I think we might just gonna scale them, but we can't just scale them because yeah, we're not gonna scale them. We're actually only gonna keep one, so I'm gonna delete all the rest, and I actually want that top one, that one, so I'm gonna delete all of these. Pick this one, move it where I want it to be, roughly. Then hit insert to move the pivot again into the center. And I can go ahead and duplicate this, rotate it. And then now I'm just going to hold down Shift D and duplicate it all the way around. Okay, now we can come out of X-ray view and just see where these sit. And I'm not too happy with where they are. I think they're a bit too close. I want them sitting more around here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and delete these and go back into a side view, turn X-ray on, and I'm actually going to go ahead and move this up around here. Again, move the pivot to the center. And duplicate and rotate, so they're still going to be at the line in with these, but they're going to be with these on the reference, but they're going to be a bit further apart. Okay, so something like that. Let's have a look how that's looking. And now I can just go ahead and push these in a bit because now they're sticking out too much. Okay, so that looks a bit better. I like that more. And again, this is one of those bits where you can play around with it and make it yours. So that looks pretty good. Okay, so basically we got this front piece made. For this piece, there isn't any of these squares, I don't think, or at least I couldn't see any. So I think what we're going to do is actually make this scale up so it actually sits inside. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. What we're going to do is, I actually don't know what the back side of this looks like because I don't have a good reference for it. So I think what we're gonna do is leave that as it is for now, and instead we're gonna go ahead and quickly add in an extra detail to these before I go ahead and stop this. Then next part we'll go ahead and finish up these pieces completely. So first we're gonna go ahead and select all of these faces. We're just going to add in an extra detail to this that I think it will make it look a little bit better. So let's go ahead and select these faces quick. Go ahead and hit extrude, scale in. Okay, and go ahead and extrude again. Scale in just to get that loop. Extrude, move in a bit so we get that loop. Now I'm just going to hit G to extrude again, move in, G again, move in, G again, scale in. Okay, so basically all I did is while extruding I added the loops that we need, so this will keep its shape. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and smooth it, so you just get this little thing in there that I think adds some detail to it. And I think we're also going to go ahead and do it with this piece. Oops. Okay, so you can go ahead and extrude, scale inwards, and then we can go ahead extrude scale in again just to get the loop. Extrude, move in a bit. Okay, hit G to repeat the last action. Move this in again, G again, move in, G to extrude, and then scale in. Okay, and basically we got that created as well, smooth, and that looks pretty good. Now just remember that this is not going to have it, so you can either go ahead and just duplicate it over, and I think that's what exactly we're going to do. So we're just going to, actually we're just going to duplicate the whole thing over. So I'm going to select and delete that, and then we're going to select this whole piece, duplicate, modify center pivot, just move it over, scale X -1, and then just line this up like so. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure that for this piece it's just like a cylinder, but I'll go ahead and get that checked out to make sure what it looks like. And then we're going to go ahead and finish this piece off, and then I think we're going to go ahead and start creating the intricate parts, or either we'll get this bigger piece out of the way and then move on to the intricate parts of the threads. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next couple of parts.